video 3. As you can see by the title, today we're talking about holiday constipation, which is like the most realest thing ever on holiday, especially if you've worked so hard at the gym to get your bikini body and then you go on holiday and you're just bloated and you just feel, it's just horrible. Today we're going to really go through everything. We're going to go through how to prevent constipation and digestion issues. We're going to go through what to do if you do experience it and how to ease it. We're going to go through in-flight tips, talking about how to, you know, from the get-go, how to prevent all this happening. Even going on holiday with your partner, that kind of stuff. We're going to cover it in this video. The first video you've ever clicked on and you're seeing my face for the first time, hey, what's up? My name's Ebony. I post series here on YouTube, and this week we're doing a series all on how to stay healthy, keep your normal routine, keep everything that you're working really hard to maintain in your normal day-to-day life going when you're on holiday. And I'm posting every single day, Monday to Friday at 7 p.m. So if you want to be a part of it and see all the videos, then make sure you click the subscribe button, or just come join me back here at 7 p.m. every day this week. And let's get straight into the video, and I'm going to give you my tips on how to prevent constipation and all that jazz. Okay, so let's start at the beginning and let's talk about like on the flight, because this is where the constipation cycle starts. First thing I want to say, I mean, it's a real standard thing, and I'm just going to quickly say and get out of the way, is drink your water. Like, that is huge, because a lot of people, they get on the plane, they forget like about hydrating themselves and drinking water, and you know, can go like an 8-hour flight with drinking like one small cup. And what happens is that flying actually dehydrates you anyway, so you're going to be losing water from your bowels anyway. But what happens is that you're eating all these different foods, they're going into your stomach, and you're not moving either, you're just sitting there. So it all kind of sits and stays, and you're not drinking water, nothing's like pushing through, and it kind of starts the build up. Another thing I recommend is drinking tea. Now if you're not a tea drinker, then just drink some hot water. Ask the flight attendant, say, can I just have some hot water and some like cold water, and like mix the two together, make yourself a little warm drink, just to help your body out, because actually cold water could actually make the digestion like work harder, and you don't want that either. Peppermint tea and anything like that that helps digestion is going to really help and benefit you. Now this is actually something that I do recommend just paying attention to throughout your whole holiday, but especially on the flight. But the tip I have is just for on the flight, I would personally recommend trying to focus a bit more on like a higher fat, low carb diet. And when I say high fat, I mean like nice good fats, because I do personally find it's the grains and those heavier starchy foods which can cause a lot of constipation, especially if you are losing water from your body from the flight. So what I recommend is having things like yogurts and keeping the fat content a little bit higher, nuts, seeds, I don't know, whatever they have on the plane. I really recommend it because it kind of keeps everything moving a lot better. I actually really have tested this out, and I suffer with constipation from flights. Like, it is just something I always get, and I tried doing the high fat low carb on the flight. I mean, I've been doing it day to day anyway, but on the flight I definitely stuck to it, and oh my god, it worked. I did not get that constipation like when I got off the flight. And another thing I do recommend is keep yourself in real time as well. I think it's very easy to get on the plane and they start bringing out loads of food, and they bring it out at times that you wouldn't normally eat. Like, for example, if you're on an overnight flight, they might bring out a snack which actually to your body clock might be like 1 o'clock in the morning, and would you normally eat then? You probably wouldn't. So be mindful of your body clock and try and keep that going. Okay, so now let's talk about a couple of things that you can do when you're actually on your holiday. Now the first thing I just want to talk about now, because this is a huge factor when it comes to constipation on holiday. If you are going away with your partner or anyone that you wouldn't normally, you know, they don't really ever see you go to the toilet, not see you go to the toilet, but you know what I mean, you're not in that kind of environment together, you don't live together, that's what I'm trying to say. It can be very stressful. You don't really want to, you know, admit that you're going for a poo. You know what I mean, that kind of thing. Not saying that you have to tell them or anything, but it's kind of like you both know, and it can make you both feel on edge. The stress of worrying about that, because another thing, like, let's be real, another thing you might be worried about is you don't want to go to the toilet in the hotel room and then it like maybe leave a smell or something like that. Like, these are real stresses. Let's talk about it. So my biggest advice on this is, honestly, your partner's probably stressing just as much as you are, but my biggest tip when it comes to this is, if you are really worried about that, go to a toilet maybe that's down by like the breakfast or something, or just out of the hotel room, or maybe your partner does. That's just the best way to do it, and kind of like have times of the day where you kind of disappear on your own, you know, go off, do your own thing, and then you're actually going to the toilet type thing. Don't put the pressure that you only have to go to the toilet when you're in your hotel room. But I do know what that feels like when you're a bit worried about going to the toilet with your partner around. So yeah, just wanted to talk about that and just remind yourself that it is also human. When you are stressed about going to the toilet because you're worried about, I don't know, leaving a smell or whatever around someone else, you will be constipated because you will, like, your body will be subconsciously holding it in because you just don't want to go to the toilet. But actually, I'll give you another tip, is that you could take, there's these things, I know the brand Aesop do them, they're called post-poo drops, and they're fantastic. I actually have them in my bathroom at my house just in case guests come around and they want to go to the toilet and, you know, they're embarrassed or whatever. But these are great. You can take them on holiday with you and just keep them by the toilet. What they are, they're little drops. So basically, once you've done the deed, you can basically take a couple of drops, pop them in the toilet, and it completely neutralizes any smell, and there's just like no trace of any smell there. So they're really, really handy to take with you on holiday. So I highly recommend, if you are seriously worried about it, invest in some of those. Okay, so my next tip is every single morning I recommend you start your day with some hot water with lemon and ginger. Now, the reason why I say this is not only because the hot liquid is really good for digestion, but ginger is seriously anti-inflammatory, so it's going to really help calm your body down, especially if you're eating a lot of like different foods you don't normally eat and your body might be experiencing a little bit of inflammation inside. Really helps with that. But also the lemon is just amazing for digestion. I mean, every single day I start my day with hot lemon water, and it just really helps get everything through. It really helps also to help detoxify your body, and it actually alkalines the body as well. Having a couple of like junk foods here and there, like your body could be a little bit more acidic than normal, so that really helps keep everything in line as well. Also, do it before you start eating. Now, another thing I want you to be mindful of is food combining. Now, this is especially on the breakfast buffet. I'm going to talk about that. I'm doing a whole video on the breakfast buffet. I just want to talk about food combining just as a whole. Just be wary of which foods you are putting together, because sometimes it's not the food you're eating, it's just a combination of what you're eating together, because it can be very easy on holiday just to kind of, you know, go a little bit all out and have a bit of everything. Sometimes if you're someone who suffers with their digestion, like, that isn't a good idea. But like I said, I will be touching on that subject a lot more in the how to navigate a breakfast buffet, which is coming in the week. A little sneak peek there. Okay, so another thing that's going to really help your digestion as well, let's talk about trigger foods. So you might already know certain foods which maybe your body doesn't respond the best to. Like me, for example, I'm not the best with like garlic and onion. They actually make me feel a little bit sick afterwards. But sometimes when you go on holiday, like some of these foods you just really can't avoid, because a lot of restaurants either have things pre-marinated or, you know, things are already pre-prepared, so it's kind of hard sometimes to avoid them. Now, what I recommend in this kind of instance is that if there is a certain food but you know that there are going to be certain meals that you have it in, try and like disperse those meals out throughout the week. So basically what I'm trying to say is you don't want to get into a situation where you're having a trigger food nearly every single day, because that is when your body will, you know, build up a response. But if you can try and split your trigger foods up, I mean, every other day is still quite soon. I'll probably say every 2 days if you can, if you're like away for a week, then that's going to really, really help. I know sometimes you can't avoid it altogether, and I get that, but if you can, then that is a really big tip. And another thing goes with like treating yourself, is because when you're on holiday, like, let's be real, you're on holiday, you do want to, you know, relax and maybe let yourself go from your normal routine a little bit. You might want to indulge in a couple of like naughty foods, shall we say. So I just want to say, like, don't feel bad in doing that. You can definitely do it. So a tip I have here is be mindful of what else you're having that day. So if you know, for example, that night you are going the all out, you're having a pizza, you're having like, you know, milkshakes a lot, like you're really going for like the junk food kind of stuff, then maybe keep the rest of the day like super, super healthy and try and be as good as you possibly can to help balance it out. Because what you don't want is, you don't want to get on holiday, start having the full English breakfast, start having like chips and, you know, ice creams at lunch, and then going out for like some big pizza in the evening. Like, your body's just going to be like, what is all this food you are feeding me? So just try and keep everything in balance and moderation to keep your digestion a little bit happy. It's like, for example, if you fancy an ice cream, guys, have an ice cream, but just don't have one every single day. Or another thing I have actually as a tip is actually portion control. But just keep your portion control. If you know that these foods you don't normally eat and you are trying to stick to a healthy diet and you're trying to stay on track, then maybe just limit your portion, just have a couple and just satisfy the craving and leave it there. And then the other thing is that I also want to talk about like not restricting, because I don't think that you should restrict either, because sometimes that can be even more unhealthy. Like, I think mentally, let's just say someone's having an ice cream, you're sitting there, you're like, oh my god, I want that ice cream so much, and you can't stop thinking about it. It's on your mind all day, but you're not letting yourself have it. Sometimes that's actually more unhealthy mentally doing that. So it can actually be better if you just have, even if it's just like a mouthful of the ice cream, or just let yourself have one, and then, you know, you won't have one for the rest of the holiday, or rest like for a couple of days until you have another one, kind of thing. So a good example, when I was on holiday, they actually had a vegan burger on the menu, and I was like, oh, I really want to get the vegan burger. But I knew that that day, you know, I'd already had like maybe an ice lolly, I maybe had like, you know, big pancakes or something for breakfast, and I was like, oh. Then what I recommend doing is healthifying your food. So what I did is I had the burger because I wanted it, and I'm not gonna stop myself having it because I'm on holiday. But what I did is I had it without the bun, so I don't have the bun with it, and then also maybe you could just swap the fries for a salad. So you satisfy your craving, you get what you want, but you've kind of like made it a little bit healthier, a little bit better. So that's just a couple of tips when it comes to like eating habits and what you actually choose when you're out there. If you have allergies and intolerances, as do I, then make sure you tell the hotel before you go. They just need to know this stuff in advance. And then another thing is that anywhere that you're going to go for dinner, I do recommend you maybe pre-book and just let them know like on your reservation that you have allergies, so they know before you get there as well. It just kind of saves that if they do need to do any prep, it lets them do it in their own time, not like you turn up and then you're like, surprise, I've got about 15 allergies, and then like, oh my god, how are we gonna like feed her? And then another thing actually I just remembered about the whole constipation thing. So let's talk about a couple of things to do if, like, let's say you're on holiday and let's just say you have suddenly got constipated and you just cannot go. So these are a couple of the things that I recommend. One, you can massage your stomach. Just lie down, even before you go to bed, even when you wake up in the morning, or even when you're lying down in the sun in sunbathing, massage your stomach. Just do it in like circular motions, going round, and loosen everything up. Another thing, and this is another little bit of a, it's already a TMI tip, it's just another little like tip when you're going to the toilet, is put your feet up. So I don't know what you can get, if there's like a bin in the bathroom or something, I don't know, something that you can just elevate your feet on, because it actually puts your body into a better position for your bowels to empty. Sometimes when you're sitting like this, like a 90-degree angle, like it's not the best position, and it's harder for like your bowels to empty basically. Whereas if you raise your like legs up a little bit, I think your rectum basically goes into better alignment, and everything just out. Honestly, just chug as much warm water as possible. Try and, you know, not go for the cold water, and that's actually quite easy to do, like drink a lot of cold water on holiday because it is so hot. Sometimes if you're on like a beach holiday, for example, and you just want iced water, but actually having warm water is going to be much more beneficial for your digestive system. And then last resort, if you really cannot go to the toilet, use some extra help. You can either take a couple more like laxative foods, like natural laxative, like for example prunes are natural laxative, pears are natural laxative, but also think like what do you have at home which helps you with digestive like issues, because maybe you might be able to find that out there as well. And then obviously you do have things like, for example, a little bit of senna just to help get it through. You can also take, like I take tripolo, it's like an Indian concoction. I mean, you might even find something in the pharmacy if you don't have anything with you, but I would just recommend doing it once as well. Like, don't get in a habit with it. Like, do not start taking this every single day of your holiday as well. That's another tip, because what will happen is that you'll take it on holiday to help yourself go, and then when you get home your bowels will be a little bit like, what the hell, like can't really function properly on their own. It's gonna take them time to get back into the swing of things, so then you might get constipation when you get home. So just do it once just to get that initial hit, and then I would say once you have gone to the toilet, just all the tips I've spoken about, you know, like loads of water, loads of like, you know, foods that are going to aid the digestion, just keep them up as much as you can, then hopefully you should start to get a little bit more of a regular cycle for the rest of the holiday. I feel like I've covered quite a bit in this video. I've talked a lot. Okay, so tomorrow's video is going to be all about how to navigate that breakfast buffet and keep yourself healthy, keep yourself, you know, on track. I'm also going to give you a couple tips actually if you suffer with like dietary needs, or if you're just into health in general, like a couple of things that you can do which are going to help you throughout the day from the breakfast buffet. And you probably won't know what that means until you watch tomorrow's video. But anyway, I have a good couple of tips for you guys tomorrow. So make sure you are here at 7 PM tomorrow for that video, or just press that subscribe button so you don't miss it, and also so you see all my next series that are coming up in the future. Oh, and before I go, let me know in the comments below what your tips are for preventing constipation on holiday. I would love to hear what your tips are. And yeah, have a wonderful day guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Mwah. Bye.